Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and I welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is shocking audio revealing Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe may be over sooner than you think. So that's the topic I'm going to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, make sure you check out Dreamerspro Max, an online sports community, place you can talk about basketball, chat live during games, so many other cool things. We have that linked in the comment section. Make sure you check that out. And also make sure you go ahead and click the join button and become a member of the channel here. So listen, we all know that at least the top two sports debate shows in the United States, out there are ESPN's First Take and Skip and Shannon's Undisputed. I think the numbers say so, and I think I think First Take certainly gets the most viewership out there when we're talking about people that watch that show. It's a pretty big show. It's a pretty big deal. It got so big to the point where celebrities and major athletes will go on there to promote things, talk about different things. So ESPN's First Take is a big deal. It's a big deal. But there's a backstory, and a backstory that maybe some people don't know. Maybe some people that started watching the show recently, but that show was been around for a while, and the architect, the person that really started that show, was Skip Bayless, right? Skip Bayless was the originator, so to speak. Before it was First Take, ESPN's First Take, it was actually called Cold Pizza, and Cold Pizza was basically Skip Bayless. He was the staple of the show, and he would debate different people: Rob Parker, Chris Broussard, Stephen A. Smith. But all of these people will come in at different points, right? But he was the main staple on that show, and then ultimately Skip Bayless said, listen, I think they wanted to go to a different format, and he said, I like Stephen A. Smith, and he told Stephen A. Smith essentially, this is a summation of what they said. Listen, I think we can do this thing, but we're going to be 50-50, right? 50-50 partners, and we're going to feed off of each other. And then from that point, the show was rebranded as ESPN's First Take. I'm getting this information because this is what Skip Bayless said recently in an interview that I heard on a very good podcast or show. It's called WBH Radio. Those guys are doing a pretty good job, at least in this episode that I saw. So you may want to check them out. So that's what Skip Bayless was there, and he was really given this, given the backstory for how this show really came about, and ultimately he spoke about his transition to FS1 Fox Sports 1, right? Because his contract expired in 2016. I think the show ran from 2012 to 2016. Then he had an opportunity to renegotiate a new contract. And I think that Skip Bayless, according to some of the things that he said, he seems to be one of these people that likes to take the plunge and, try new things head first and, just kind of go off of his gut feeling and his convictions. And, he just kind of believes that things will work out. And ultimately that's what he did. And he spoke about, the transition to a new network and ultimately finding a new partner. And it happened pretty, it was pretty serendipitous. I hope that's a word. The way him and Shannon Sharpe ended up discovering themselves, because essentially I think Stephen A. Smith was on a break. They brought in Shannon Sharpe for about a weekend, and they saw electricity, right? And this was when they were at ESPN. There's a segment out there when they were together, when they were debating back and forth. And I think ultimately Skip Bayless said, listen, if I'm going to go to a new network, this is the guy I want to debate against. It brings a lot of gravitas to the show because he's a former NFL player, NFL Hall of Famer. I think he went into the NFL Hall of Fame in 2011, if I'm not mistaken. So, he's a very accomplished guy. A lot of people know his name, and he thinks that, and he said that they genuinely have a lot of disagreements on certain topics, which he thought would make good, or which he thought would bode well for TV, right? Because these guys have general differences on certain things and certain topics. So therefore, he felt like, listen, these guys they're going to work wonders. He truly, according to Skip Bayless, he truly believes that LeBron James is that dude, and all of these different things. So ultimately, him and Shannon Sharpe ended up becoming partners at on the new show Skip and Shannon's FS1, and I think they really were able to get a bump off of the Colin Kaepernick news when that happened. I think at one point there was some Tim Tebow news that they covered then, and these different things. It's like, listen, in sports media, it's not just about being good. Being good is important. Having a good production team or whatever it is good. Like Marco and I, we think we do a hell of a job given the fact of where we are, right? We know where we are. We're 20,000 subscribers, and as we grow, we're going to scale up the production. I think things need to make sense. I think a lot of people scale up a little bit too fast when they haven't proven enough that they have an audience, right? A lot of people spend a lot on investing on equipment and all of these different things. And the first question you got to ask, do people like you? Are you good enough? Are you going to be able to stand the test of time, right? You can buy all of those things, but everybody can do that. but are you willing to put in the hours, the commitment, be consistent? Once you do that, then I believe you scale up. I think things need to make sense, right? You're not, no one is going to build a $10 million house, a $10 million apartment or whatever it is to charge people $150 a month for rent. That makes no sense. So in my opinion, I think that, a lot goes into sports. Sports media, and Skip Bayless outlined this perfectly in this interview that he did. But then it was towards the end of the interview, the host asked him a very direct question. He said, "Listen, do you have any regrets? Do you have any regrets throughout your career?" And Skip Bayless gave a very candid answer. So before I go too far, what I want you guys to do is take a listen to some of the things that Skip Bayless had to say as far as a possible reunion between Stephen A. Smith, because that was there, and just, what he thought about as far as regrets. So before I go too far, take a listen to some of the things that he said there.
My point of
That's
view,
it.
but yeah.
All right, Shay, you got a tie. He got a tie. Skip, one last one for you.
Sure.
You've been dominating this sports debate for years. Recently, you just came out of negotiation, which kind of reaffirmed your value,
Thank you.
What would you say has been your biggest disappointment or setback in your career?
That's a good question.
Because you've been the man flying high. We hear about your work ethic and your discipline, and that's contributed to the success you've had. You undefeated in debate. But when you do this long enough, journalism, television, there's going to be some roadblocks, some up and downs.
Yeah, honestly, you're going to think this is a cliche answer, but it's the God's truth. I don't have any regrets.
Mm-hmm.
I have had a bunch of ups and downs.
Yes, sir.
I am a spiritual man, and I do believe in God, and I do believe in the power of prayer, and I believe in listening to what I call your God voice, which is your intuition in the back of your head that tells you to do that or that. And sometimes I look back on a choice that I made career-wise, like leaving Stephen A.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And then a month later, I wake up and say, no, it's okay. It's going to work. And I do not rule out one day reuniting with Stephen A. because in my last, what you're talking about, my new deal, it was close that I almost reunited with him then. Yep. It was very close. And I would love to work with him again, but it's like, that's in God's hands. And I'm not trying to shrug off your question or duck or dodge your question. I don't look back and have some powerful regret that I didn't try this or that.
Now, in that soundbite, I was taken aback by some of the things that he said, because I was surprised just to see how forthcoming and candid he was. The fact of the matter is, there were rumors back then that Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless could possibly have, they could possibly reconnect. And apparently what I was hearing was Disney's ESPN's Plus, because Disney owns ESPN, they were trying to create a show for ESPN Plus that would elicit subscriptions. People to subscribe to the platform, right? Because if they had this kind of special show that you can only see there, then it would cause a lot of people to subscribe to that to that platform. Therefore, increasing their revenue, right? And because of this show that you can only watch on ESPN Plus or Disney, ESPN Plus with Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, obviously a good amount of people are going to want to watch that, and a lot of people will subscribe to that. That's what I heard, before that happened, and it's kind of something. We're kind of we here at Dreamerspro are kind of modeling ourselves after that with our Dreamerspro Max, but we're obviously in a very early stage, 1.0 stage. But essentially, that was supposed to be where they were going to connect and really sort of rekindle that flame, so to speak. So he spoke about that, and he also said that he would be totally open to a possible reunion. And when he said that, a lot of thoughts went through my mind. I was like, wait a minute. Does that mean that he may possibly leave Fox Sports? Because I know he just signed a new contract with them. That was the first thing that I thought. Does he believe that him and Stephen A. Smith are a better duo? Are those some of the thoughts that are going through the back of his mind? Does he regret leaving Stephen A. Smith? Right? Or, and how should Shannon Sharpe feel about this? If Shannon Sharpe heard that, heard those comments, how should he feel? Does Shannon Sharpe know this? Right? How would you feel? Or is it all business? these are some of the things. These are some of the questions, that went through my mind because, I think it was pretty surprising to hear him say that listen, me and Stephen A. Smith were really, really good together, and he wouldn't mind a reunion, and he wouldn't rule it out. So for me, my question is to you guys, because really the video is made for you guys. The question is, what do you think about the comments that Skip Bayless made? Do you think that there could be a possible reunion? Would you like to see it? And which duo do you think is better? Do you think Skip and Shannon are better than Skip and Stephen A. Smith, or which one would you rather see more? Right, and that's the reason why we really created this video, because it was really to get really to take the temperature of what our audience thought about this particular topic here. So whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below about this video, because I'll be very interested to hear what some of our viewers think about this topic. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments there. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode.